as soon as Hi, my name is Kevin McDonald, and I'm declaring my independence. Independence from what? Why, negative thoughts and energy, of course. Chief among them, hate, division, and fear. You see, I know that we're all one, and together we can solve any problem, save our planet and each other. Please join me as we come together as one and choose a better way to be. So now, let's begin with my independence report. And welcome everybody to my another episode of my Independence Report. My name is Kevin McDonald, and I have a beautiful young lady sitting over there, and we're going to talk about her for the entire hour. Her name is Rebecca Tolk, and she is a creative photographer. Really, well, I guess what I need to start with is this. I want you, if you're listening to this, I want you to go to RebeccaTolk.com. RebeccaTolk.com, because you're going to find out a lot about her, and she's also a photographer, an amazing photographer, and so you will get a chance to look at all of her work of what she does, and we're going to get into a lot of that today. So she's extraordinary. She, like everybody else, has had her share of life, both on the good side and then some health problems, and now she's back with a smiling face again. So, Rebecca, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good today. Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, thank you for being here, because you have got a skill that I kind of consider like a UFO. You don't know where it came from, you don't know how it got there, but it's there, and it really is an amazing thing. How is it now? You're a photographer.
Mhm,
And how is it now? You've been doing this for a long time, but how
mhm.
is it that you can create such wonderful pictures that are really art forms rather than just taking a picture of somebody? How do you, what's in your mind? How do you see that? It's a real talent that you have.
Wow, that's a wonderful introduction and a good question. Um, excuse me. I mean, a lot of it is just really intuitive. Like I have to really stop and think, like, how do I answer that, right? Because it's who I am, and it's how I show up for people. Um,
And
I
you,
didn't
well,
tell.
you go ahead, go ahead.
No, you go. I was gonna say I forgot the question.
No, see, there are things like, well, I got to go back into time a little bit, because one of my favorite people on the planet, she's passed now, but
Mm,
Linda McCartney, who
mm,
was she met Paul McCartney of the Beatles when she
mm,
was a photographer, and
mm,
she took pictures of famous people, and she
mm.
tons of them, and so. And Paul would say, I don't know how she does it either, because what you do is so out of the norm, because you have something in your eye, your mind's eye, that you can see what a picture is going to look like, or a portrait's going to look like, before you even do it. And that
Oh, I don't. I mean, some photographers do, but I don't. Like, I'd go in, it's a spontaneous, inspired moment, right? Like, some photographers pre visualize everything and they can go set it all up. I'm not like that. Like, I show up with the intention, right? And the openness, and I connect to you, to your essence, to what's there in the present moment, right? And we work from there. And that's where my inspiration comes from. And then when I see the images and I go into editing, it's like whatever energy I captured is what informs the editing. So it's a very organic, in the moment process for me personally. Every shooter's different.
but it's but you actually use your inspiration and you use your psychic ability and connection to the energy that is being presented for you to
Yes.
come up with the best way to present the picture or the
Yes.
portrait.
Yes.
And so you that see now that is unique. um
Mm.
a lot, because rather than planning it out and you just let it flow and it just kind of is there for you.
Yeah, I mean, my editing style, like you'll see on my website, is very dreamy and etheric and vintage. Like there's all kinds of labels you can put on it, and I'm always like, that's the direction I go and why people hire me. But still, like I had one client recently who it just when I saw her images and I felt her vibe, it wasn't that dreamy. Like the images called for more of like a high contrast, modern look, and that's what I went with. So it's interesting the way I'm just kind of led by what I don't know. Just my
Well, but you see, there is I've worked with quite a few psychics and medium and people that use their intuition to achieve something different. And
mm,
that's what you're using, and you've chosen photography
mm,
as your outlet for that. When did you get started doing this?
I was gonna say I think photography chose me. Um, when I was 15, here this is a good story your listeners might appreciate. I was as a young child, I was in theater for I don't know, as long as I can remember. And then when I hit puberty, I got scared. Like I got scared of everything and I got scared being on stage and I couldn't do it. So I switched from the theater class to the photography class. And that has just been going ever since.
So you decided to get behind the camera
Yeah.
instead of being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but that's but you see, and that's why it's such an art form, is because
Mm.
I was an actor when I was a kid
Ah.
and stuff, but I could not do what you do to save my life, because I don't have
Oh.
any conception of what it is that you are doing and how you're putting it together and stuff. It's because a lot of times you're not working with professional models either. You're working with just normal folk.
Oh, yeah, I prefer normal folk over professional models. Professional models, from what I understand, are trained to show a specific look. Like an actor, it's something more on the outside, on the surface. I mean, I don't know because I don't know specifically, so I don't want to speak any untruths. But when I'm working with clients, I mean, they're just regular people like you and me, and there's honesty, there's vulnerability, there's fear, there's so many emotions right there to work with, to connect with, and to me that's what I prefer over the trained models.
Got it. And when you're working now, you have also done something that is, to my knowledge, it's extraordinarily unique in that in this day and age where we are all kind of hunkered down and staying home, you're still able to work. How are you able to work?
Well, when COVID hit, I found a group of photographers online that were playing with remote capture. And I gave it a try and I fell in love with it. It really resonates with me. Um, there's a total lack of control in it um, that a lot of photographers didn't like. But to me, that's part of the spontaneity and magic of it. um,
So
yeah.
when you say lack of controls, that means you must not be a control freak.
Oh
Like
God, I am a control freak. Aren't we all? Um, well, no, it's like it's not a technical art shooting remotely, right? And I've never I'm an emotional and intuitive shooter, not as much a technical shooter. So it really lines up for me. I'm not being as nitpicky with the technical um, with the remote shooting. But I mean, we have a virtual consult before the shoot where we look around your space, we look at the light sources and your wardrobe. And so there is some control over that, right? That I can create the scene that you want to express. Um, but but I'm actually directing you through a video call, right? Like a FaceTime or WhatsApp, and I'm taking screenshots on my phone of what I'm seeing through that call. So it's a slower capture. I can't control any settings like depth of field or f-stop or anything like that. So that's what I mean, lack of control. And there's some spontaneity and magic in it because um, I don't know, you don't know what'll happen. I mean, the Wi-Fi could go a little soft. It could go out. The cat could knock down the tripod. I mean, there's like it's to me that's all fun and it's all part of it.
Well, it's interesting because the remote thing that you're doing, do you know anybody else that's doing that? Are there a bunch of folks that do it, or is this kind of unique to you?
Well, the photographers that I learned with, they were doing it for a while, but once they were able to go back out and shoot with masks on, I don't know if they're still doing it. I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure. But
Okay.
for a while, in the first few months of quarantine, all of the photographers I knew were playing with it and exploring it.
Got it. Got it. And so I'm gonna put this out quite a little bit because I really want people to go to your website because
Hmm.
you've got some really cool pictures there, and some. By the way, I call them pictures, but I don't know that that's the right word. How would you like me to address your art form, the work that you do, and you don't call them pictures? Are they portraits? What are they?
Oh goodness, I'm not picky. I mean, portraits, pictures, images, uh, sometimes, or just my artwork. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, they're there for your enjoyment. They're yours. They're yours to have your own experience with. It doesn't matter what you call
So go to Rebecca Tolk. That is TOLK.com,
them. Hmm.
and she's got a bunch of portraits there,
Hmm.
and she's also does work with couples and with
Hmm.
individuals, and
Hmm.
I want to get into that. But before we go there, I
Hmm.
want to go into you were a budding superstar, for lack of a better word, when you were younger, and you were doing a lot of work, and then you had a health problem. What happened?
Oh, yeah, I got sick. I In 2009, I was doing a lot of my nature photography. I was shooting with a Holga camera, and they had just asked me to be a featured artist with their company. And in fact, that's another good story of why I love the lack of the Holga camera is a plastic toy camera. There's like only like one set you can pick, like there's only one or two settings you can pick. And so again, it's very spontaneous and magical, and there's light leaks and scratches, and that's a lot of my nature images, which you can see on my Instagram feed further back. I'm redoing that part on my website now. Um, so it's not up. But anyways, shooting remotely reminded me of shooting with the Holga because it's again, like I said, that lack of technical control. So it's just you get to hone in on the emotions um, and the intuition. But to answer your question, in 2009, when I was doing a lot of that nature work, I I I couldn't go outside. Like I couldn't go outside anymore. I became sensitive to light. I was having headaches every day and fatigue. And eventually, when I got help, it turned out I had Lyme disease and mercury poisoning. Um, and so that put me out. Like I had to move out of my home, get family support. I couldn't work for a long time. It was a lot.
How did you get mercury poisoning?
We don't know. I mean, I had to have all the fillings removed from my mouth. It could have been that. I used to eat a lot of tuna fish. That's another thing. I was living in the mountains at the time, and I know one possibility was maybe the water source. I mean, they really just didn't know.
That the water source sounds like a positive hit, at least for me, because in the in some cases the water can be contaminated and stuff. But you never really knew. And how long did it take for them to discover that it was Lyme disease? And I know that you were down and out for years.
Yeah, about 10 years. Well, the first few years I was able to chelate the mercury out, and the Lyme got cleared. But in that process, I was put on Klonopin, which is an anxiety medication. And as I was feeling better and going off that, I learned that that's an addictive, can be an addictive medication for some people, and and I was one of them. So um, and I didn't know about that. So when I went off it, I went through horrible withdrawal
Right.
and became sicker than I had been the previous few years with the mercury and the Lyme. So a large chunk of my illness and recovery was just um, dealing with that. And I'm still coming out of it. I mean, I still have some things going on, um, but that's a really hard thing to recover from. A lot of people don't. I've read about. So I'm grateful to be here.
What made you decide to go back to work and to resume your career?
Um, that's a good question. I remember I think it was just last year, I had a neighbor who knew I had been a photographer and hadn't shot in a while, and she asked me to take her picture, and she wanted to pay me. And I was like, and it just came out of the blue, right? And I was like, oh, guess I could do that again. Like I've been, like it was like one of those things that the universe just like, it's time. I mean, and I never took her picture. Like she never came back and went through with that process, but it spurred me into realizing that I could shoot again. Like, I mean, I can't shoot all the time, and I'm at maybe half level of working. You know what I mean? But so I feel like that was like kind of the moment that it happened. I have to go thank her.
Well, it kind of validated who you are and that you can continue to do it. And your passion was still there for it, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was interesting. Um, Yeah. And I can't remember the exact moment, but it was before COVID, right? Because it was the end of last year. And I started just shooting people locally, just not for money, just friends, just like, hey, I just want to get back into it. How's my muscle memory? Like for a while, I was realizing that I'd lost a lot of strength. So I was having a lot of camera shake. So I started working with a personal trainer to, get my stability back. Um, but I was shooting a lot of women and realizing that it was very different than before when I was mostly focused on weddings and children's photography. And I was noticing that the women were just really caught in their head a lot more. Like when you're in your wedding, you're not like you're joyful, right? And the small kids, they don't give a shit about anything. Like they're running around and loving life, and I just follow them. But as women and men, just as adults, we get so caught up in our appearance, in our mind chatter, in our inner critic. And I was just seeing this, and I'd have to like tell them to take a moment. We'd close our eyes, breathe, pause, reconnect, open up, and there'd be some life again that I could capture. But it was quite challenging. And so that's when I got the idea to work with a healer or a coach or a facilitator to bring them with on the shoot, to like do a meditation and a grounding before the photo shoot, help them really connect and get out of their head. Um, and then be on the shoot. So each time we changed location, I do these outside in the forest. Um, they just be there to help them reconnect again. And it was going really great. Like it was a really great process. And then I was ready to launch and announce that I was like a member of all these networking groups locally. And then COVID hit. And it was like, oh, fuck, like I like gotten all these business cards and brochures and stuff. And so, so then, I mean, now we're here. I found the remote capture. I found embodiment guides online. I did a lot of research and found some really great people, um, that I give an embodiment session in my package to my clients before the photo shoot. And that's just been really, really amazing. People get so much out of it. Um, it's just it's beautiful to witness their transformation and the moments they do finally drop down and connect to their essence.
When you talk about I'm sorry, what did you call it again?
An
The
embodiment session with an embodiment guide.
Okay, and can you describe a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, our friend Coriel, she's and I would consider her an embodiment guide. I mean, just anyone who can help you connect through the body to your essence. And for some people, that looks like meditation, like a guided meditation or a journey inward. For some, one of my guides is a dancer, so she brings in a lot of dance to her session. Um, some bring in inner dialogue where you talk to your higher self and your smaller self and you integrate them, right? One of them's an energy healer. So you're just kind of like chilling and she's like moving energy in your body and opening up some of those blocks. So
Now,
yeah.
well, I was looking at your bio,
Mm,
and when did you make? Because it seems to me it was a conscious switch or a conscious decision that you were going to open up and go inside and go inner and use your energy and your intuition and to seek out your guides and tell us that story. What was that like for you? Because unless that was the way you have always been, but a lot of us we're not that way. We're in until we learn that there is a better way.
yeah.
How did it happen for you?
Well, I could tell you now, looking back, that I've done it all along. I didn't know probably until this most recent incarnation of my business, like what it was and to really grow on it. I mean, I remember in the beginning when I was shooting weddings, and I mean, I started when I was 21 and I'm 47 now, right? So, I mean, I was a baby when I was starting and I didn't know what I was doing. But I remember saying to a friend, I have no idea what my clients do for a living. I don't I don't know who they are, like, and I don't want to know. Like, it was I connected to their soul, used to say at the time. Like, I saw their radiance. I didn't in fact, sometimes, yeah, like, knowing people got in the way for me. Like, at that time, I it was harder to shoot my friends or people I knew that I didn't like, at least. Like, that was or that rubbed me the wrong way, because my ego was in the way of seeing their beauty. I mean, just because we don't like something someone does doesn't mean they're not beautiful and worthy of being seen. So, but I also saw early on that I was a reality mirror. Like, I really showed people what they needed to see, maybe not always what they wanted. And I didn't do it on purpose, it just happened. I mean, I shot this really beautiful woman at the start of my career. She was just stunning, and all her images came out angry, right? And like because I was just starting, I didn't really see it in the shoot. And but she was very open and she saw it and she was like, holy shit, I'm angry, I gotta work on this. Like, it really was an opening for her to see something and to heal. And now, with my years of experience and my own personal maturity, like, I can see that in the moment, like in the session, and be like, what's going on right now, right? Like, let's take a minute, what's up for you. So
When you take photographs of somebody and you're using your intuition and their energy is coming through, and can does that stay with the photograph? The energy that they have coming forth, so that when you look at it, you kind of get where they're coming from.
yeah. I mean, it depends. Do you mean like when they're if the anger shows up or the discomfort? Well, I stop shooting, right? So if I'm seeing that discomfort, whatever that is, I stop shooting. And it's like, okay, what do you need? What's present for you? Um, is there something to move through? Some people aren't, most people appreciate that, and,
Oh, I bet.
can connect. Some people don't see it as much, or some one woman I shot, she said, I was like, what's going on? You look uncomfortable." And she's like, "No, no, I'm fine. I'm fine." And I mean, I can't do much with that. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like getting back into the shooting, and maybe I say one more time, and she's like, I'm trying to look sexy." Just like it was, she had like this pout on her face, and I don't know what she was doing with her body. And I was like, oh, okay, now I understand what's going on. Let's relax. Like let's just be with yourself and see what comes out. So sometimes it takes a minute, right? Like we don't always want to acknowledge our difficult moments. I mean, they're hard, but I'm there and I hold the space, and I'm okay with whatever shows up.
Oh, that is awesome. That is just
Mhm.
awesome. By the way, we're talking with Rebecca Tolk,
Mm,
Tolk. Go to RebeccaTolk.com, and
mm,
she's got some just beautiful pictures of all kinds of folks, and they're just normal folks. And one of them is even looking in the mirror, and is well, she's naked. How what was that like for her to shoot that?
what was it like for the client?
Yeah. Was that something that she wanted to do? Was that
Oh
um
yeah.
oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah. She's very she's wonderful. She's very open. She had like no hang-ups. Um she just wanted, how did we decide? Well, I mean, I offer for my clients, I mean, you can be nude, you could have clothes on, you could have partial clothes on. Actually send out a questionnaire when you book your session that really helps me understand where you're at with the process, and maybe helps you get more clear about what you want. And one of the questions is, to what degree do you want to have clothes on or off? Um, and so she was very open. I can't remember exactly when that was decided, but um, it was what she wanted. And then that was in her bedroom. We were playing with she had a very small place. Um, and when she showed me around, I just saw that corner where all her plants were, and the light, and the mirror was somewhere else in the room. But again, like I just piecing it together. So we brought the mirror over there, and that was some of the work she wanted to do with some mirror work. There's some other really great ones where she's facing the mirror and kissing herself in the mirror, and those are really sweet. But I can't put those on social media. They
No, no. Well,
no.
and I was looking at that. I was going, what a great idea to have someone um that is alone in their room, but they're looking at the mirror, and
Mm,
they're identifying who they are as an individual, and
mm.
looking and because I don't know about you, but when you ain't got no clothes on, it's hard to hide stuff. And so so her it was really honest,
Mm,
and it was a really a an important moment for her to be able to do
mm.
that, because some people, yeah, I know that you know this, there's some people that cannot do that.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. And that's why I have the questionnaire. So, like, I knew where she was at and what she was interested in. And we also have the consult. So I get a really good idea of you and what you want from this. And the other thing I want to say is, like, with the questionnaire, I ask, like, what do you love about your body? And what are you confronted by when you see your body in images? So, one time I shot a couple, and the man had gained weight in his belly, and he was like, "Okay, but you can't show that. Like, I'll do this for you, for my wife. I'll do this, but don't show my belly." So, um and it's easy. It's easy. Like, I like knowing if there are things that you are self-conscious about. I check in to see if you want to push those boundaries a bit, but also I don't push you. If you don't want to push them, then we work with them, angles and lighting, and um, it's. I mean, for that couple, like, I just had him facing her, and like he was nuzzling her neck or her breast or her belly, so you more saw him from the back. and saw her reaction and his arms around her. Like, it was really cool. So, I work with what shows up and what your comfort level
Let's explore that the couple program that you have. Um,
is.
because and it's by no means is it pornographic, or is but it
Mm.
is, it is it's something that couples like to do. I let me ask you, is it something couples would like to do?
Some would, some wouldn't. I mean, that's what I get. Like, so I offer a date night remote portrait session, which actually has to happen during the day because I need daylight in your home. But I love calling it date night. And we get to explore your connection with your partner, your devotion and your love. And for some people that is shows up as romance or sweet and tender. For some people it's sexy and steamy, and for some it's erotic or kinky. It's really, for me, anything goes. I want it to be an expression of you. Um, Clothes on, clothes off. I mean, having sex in front of the camera, like, that's fine. It's, I mean, it's kind of hard to like go at it. I mean, it get a lot of blur. I have to control some stuff that we're doing together, but that essence of your lovemaking can be captured. Um, and the thing with the remote sessions that's really cool is, especially for couples who want to explore erotic photography for themselves, um, I'm not there, right? So you don't have a third person in your bedroom, and you don't have a big camera in your face. So the way I direct you to set up your phone, which I have right here, is you're looking at the back of your phone. I'm shooting through the back lens. Um, so you don't even see yourself. You're not on selfie mode, and you can't see me. You just hear my voice. So it's a really safe way um, to explore this, because you can kind of just go into your own experience, and I'm witnessing it, and I'm doing some direction. I need to do that, but it's a fascinating dynamic. Like, it's like a safe place to be vulnerable.
Yeah, that dude, you certainly would be vulnerable, but
Hmm.
but now, in your experience, what do they do with the pictures,
Ah,
or with the program? And I assume that you can put it into a book,
yeah.
and what do they do with it?
Well, it depends. Everyone's different. I mean, these are pieces of art that you will have to cherish forever. So for couples, like, this will be your devotion on paper, like something tangible that you can come back to, when you're fighting, or when you're having a hard day, or you just need to reconnect. For individuals and for couples too, it's just like it's a reminder of who you truly are. And for me, it's like on those hard days, I mean, I love seeing images of myself that bring me back to who I am, that remind me, that I'm going to make it through this, that I can do this, and that that's who I really am. Um, and these are beautiful pieces of art. So for people who want to add to their art collection or start a collection, it's like, this is their limited editions. They come with certificates of authenticity. These are pieces you can collect and have forever. And you can have an album, like a little secret journal, especially if it's for a sexy couple and there's kids at home. It can be your little secret to keep under the bed if you want, or if they're beautiful and you want them out. We have these amazing frame options.
Yep, you can put it
So
right there on the coffee table, and when the when the group comes
uh,
over, you get it. That would be a conversation starter. I would.
that would be. I mean, it just depends on your friends and what you got going on. I mean, but also, like, the shoot, it's an hour and a half. We can do up to 3 different looks. So we can start with your clothes on the couch, or, in the kitchen, or with some wine. Like it can be, we can make some, G-rated images that if you did want to hang in your living room, you could. And then we can graduate. Like one of the shoots I did actually started in the kitchen and ended in the bathtub.
Oh,
So
there you go.
that was really fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. It sounds like your job is a lot of fun. It sounds like.
It is. I love my job. I love photographing people. I do. I When I was 21 and I met a business coach, she's like, "What do you love to do?" I said, "I love taking pictures of people." She said, "Okay, I'll teach you how to run a business doing that." And that's how I started. Right.
I know with this with what's going on with COVID and stuff, there's a bit of a hiccup, but you are it's I sense that you're going to be wildly successful with this.
Thank you. I am having a lot of fun. The really cool thing, because it's remote, is I can photograph people anywhere. I photographed someone in Ireland. Again, I'm in Florida. So Ireland, I've been to Canada, Australia. I have a meeting with someone in New Zealand next week. It's like definitely feeding my travel bug that's not getting fed physically right now.
Well, and because you're doing it remotely
hmm
and you're doing it as well as you do, then
hmm
by the way, if you're just tuning into this, I want you to go to RebeccaTolk.com. That's TOLK.com. She's got the pictures up there for you to look at. She's got what she does with couples, what she does with individuals, um, and 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 her story, which is really is an incredible story. So,
Hmm.
so where do you see yourself going from here?
Me, uh, j- booking, just keep booking sessions,
Growing your business.
meeting people, growing my business. Um, when it's safe to travel, I would like to travel some more. That's a pretty broad question. I mean, I'm so focused on the here and now and growing this piece of my business. I haven't really thought, I haven't thought beyond that. But I mean, one of my dreams is to get a camper van and travel around the state. So, and if I can connect to strong Wi-Fi, that's the other piece. For anyone who's interested in one of these sessions, you have to have strong Wi-Fi for a good quality image. I mean, I even suggest people increase their Wi-Fi speed for a couple weeks for the consult and the shoot. So that's really key. So if I could travel with good Wi-Fi in a van, oh my God, be in a dream. That would be amazing. That's my dream.
Then you'll
Yeah.
make it happen. Then
Yeah.
it will happen.
Yeah.
Because that's and then you can go down to New Mexico and visit Coriel and
That
stuff.
would be amazing.
Because you guys, and by the way, Coriel Kramer is she's a regular on the show, and we do a show every Tuesday at 1:30 Pacific, and you need to tune into that. And we talk about right now we're talking about animal blueprints, and we were
Hmm.
talking about erotic blueprints earlier than that. I
Hmm.
suggest that there are lots and lots and lots of people in that world, in the
Yeah.
erotic blueprint world, that would love to have a professionally done photo shoot of whatever it is that they decide that they're going to do that day.
Yes. Yes. I've definitely met several erotic blueprint coaches. They're amazing. They really resonate with this work, and I really resonate with their work. I mean, I've learned a lot about my own sexuality just taking the quiz and hanging out with in their space. So that's been wonderful. And I have to say, with Coriel, we talked about doing remote portrait sessions with people and their animals and the intimacy
Oh,
that
that'd be
they
awesome.
have. Yeah. So that's when we first met. We brainstormed about that idea. So I'm really excited to meet some of her clients and work with that. I mean, that would be amazing with the animals.
Well, you know what's really interesting about the whole thing is what Coriel does. Nobody in the world is doing. Nobody does
Yeah.
what you're
Yeah.
doing. Very few people in the world are doing, and
Yeah.
so you guys are on the cutting edge of what's coming, I think.
Yes.
And
Yes.
what's coming is going to be, we're in a bit of a struggle now, but what's coming is going to be great for people like yourself who are interested in, rather than looking at the five senses, you go deeper than that. And
Hmm.
you use your intuition, you use energy, you use your
Hmm.
guides, you use the all the folks that are there to support and to help.
Hmm.
You're open to using them as they choose to be used.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it does. It does.
And that is the coming phenomenon, I believe, in our world. As we get done with this in our body kind of thing, we're going to end up doing more, because
Hmm.
we can help each other, and we can really make a difference in the world. I'll give you an example that was struck earlier for me with
Yeah.
you, is that if somebody is uptight, if they're feeling angry, you take them through a series, and they may have never done a guided meditation or a meditation in their entire life. They don't know what it's like to be able to calm down and to relax, and the steps that you need to do or you could use to do that. And you're not only taking pictures of them, you're educating them as well, which is really
I
cool.
think so. And I was doing it before I really realized what embodiment was. Like just intuitively knowing, let's just close our eyes and take a breath, right? Like that's that pause, that moment we need to connect to ourselves. And so I think I was just doing that before knowing what it was. And I've just grown on that.
Well, and what you're doing, the visualization and
Mm,
the calming down and the meditation and controlling your mind from this, and getting your mind out of the way and letting
mhm,
your intuition act.
mhm,
That is, it's a becoming a much bigger art form and a much bigger deal than it used to be, which is
mm,
why this show's kind of based around those
mm.
concepts.
Yeah.
Because I really believe that long term, that this will be an important aspect of humanity.
Yes. Well said. Indeed.
And that's why I'm so excited to be able to talk to you, and I would love to do this again and do this more.
Oh,
Uh,
yes.
and I want to support you in any way that I can, to help you grow your business, but more importantly, to get the word out that it's not weird. See, this is this is where people say, "Yeah, man, that's just fucking weird shit he's talking about there," and it's like, no, it's 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 reality, and it is at a deeper level. We are all energetic beings, and we all
Mm,
have energy, and we all connect to each other. We're all connected, we're all one, and we all have energy. And if we can take that, I'm preaching now, sorry. If we
go
can
for
take
it.
if we can understand that it's all good, and it's all by divine intention, then we can do anything we choose to do.
Mm, yes.
People
Yes.
don't get the fact that you have the ability, along with you and your guides, to be able to do anything that you choose to do. And you are living, that's I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to meet, because you're a living embodiment of that.
Oh, thank you.
It really is impressive. By the way, Rebecca Tolk is her name, and the website is Rebecca Tolk, TOLK.com, and
Mhm.
go there and book a session with her. If you
Mhm.
and your favorite human on the, or your animal, or
Yes.
she can do that as well, to give you a, now that you think about it,
What?
um some of my best friends have been dogs,
Yes. Oh my
and,
god, me too.
I
Yes.
don't have. I had one particular dog that was a border collie, Labrador mix, beautiful
Mm.
dog, but never had a really good picture of him and me together. That that
Oh.
that could really show the type,
Yes.
'cause I was his favorite human, and he was my
Oh,
favorite, and, and so I really wish that we had that, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Because
Yes, I
he's been
do.
gone 15 years, but it still strikes me,
Yeah.
that he's not here. I
Hmm.
know where he is. He's with my dad upstairs,
Okay. Good.
um,
Keeping
but
each other company. Waiting for
exactly.
you.
Hopefully, he has to wait a while longer because I have to talk to more people like you.
You do. You do. Yeah. Yeah, that would be really nice.
Now, what I like to do as I end my podcast
Yes.
is, I want to give you an opportunity to
Okay.
talk to our audience, to
Yeah.
say any darn thing that you'd like to say.
Oh, that's a little broad for my brain. Could you ask a specific question? um,
Well, let me see. Let me come up with a sufficiently broad question that
no, not too broad.
uh,
um,
um uh, um where do you see, I already asked that, where do you see yourself going? Um what would you, I know, what would
okay.
you like at the end of the day,
Okay.
many years from now,
Okay.
when what would you like your epitaph to be? What would you like to be on on what would you like your life statement to be?
Oh my God. I have never had to think of that answer. Let's see. This is a good one.
Take your time.
She
We're good.
she brought beauty.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
That's it in a nutshell. Um, and you could recognize it, and you brought it, and you lived it, and you are very special, and
Oh.
I appreciate having the opportunity to talk to you because you have a skill that I just have no earthly idea how to even do that, because some of your portraits and your pictures are just phenomenal.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your kind words. I'm feeling a little confronted in this moment. It's so wonderful. Thank you so much.
I thank you as well, and you have yourself a wonderful day. And by the way, I'm going to say it again: go to RebeccaTolk.com, and that's TOLK.com, and look at all of her stuff. And you can actually book a session with her. You
Mhm,
can I would suggest you and your animal, or you and your significant other, do
mhm.
something. You know that if that sounds like a heck of a lot of fun to do something like that, that could is virtually really private, but not.
Yeah,
And
but you know what else? It's not, it's also just for you, right? Like, yes, if you want you and your partner or your animal, but this is also a gift to give yourself. You know, this is a really beautiful, you'll see on the website, I have a page for individuals and a page for couples. And, you know, they're both wonderful experiences. I mean, for you, it's a break in your day, right? I mean, it's a celebration of who you are, where you're at right now. If you've been on a healing journey this year, um, it's a moment to mark it. In fact, some of my clients will do a session like every few months if they're on a healing journey, and then we create an album. You know, the story of your awakening.
well, that's
Um,
cool.
yeah. And I mean, and I send my clients a gift box, a handmade gift box, when they book with me, that has like all these wonderful herbal uh, bath and body products. So like, I'm inviting you to take a break, right? Like the day of your session, like, have a bath, do a dance, take a walk, like really pamper and celebrate yourself. So again, it's not just for couples, it's for individuals. I mean, in the couples box, I get a little racier. So, you know, but that also is for you to have some fun and connect. And so it's really a wonderful um it's just a very, I don't know, like pampered, wonderful, luxurious. experience, and then you end up with this amazing piece of art, and it's just a lot of fun. Um, there is a booking button on my website. There's also a button to book a free discovery call with me. So if you're, thinking about it but unsure and want to ask me some questions, you can also do that. I'm happy to talk to anyone about anything. So, just want to say hi, give me a call. I'm pretty accessible. You find me on Facebook. My phone number is probably there. Oh, and it's on the website too. So,
So it will be everywhere, which
yeah.
is really good. And by the way, this podcast is worldwide, so
Oh,
I have listeners in 45 countries around the world. So,
wow.
you find. By the way, guys, if you're living in England or you're living in Australia, you can access her skills,
Yes.
and she does it remotely. So it's not an issue.
Yeah,
So
the three things I say everyone needs is you need strong Wi-Fi, you need daylight during my working hours, right? So like I'm Eastern time, I work 9 to 5ish. You have to have daylight. I mean, I have shot some people with a lot of artificial light, like a lot you if you have darkness, like if you're in Australia, we need to get a lot of lamps in your home or some of those ring lights so we can work with that. And the third thing is that you need to speak a little bit of English so we can communicate. I mean, I haven't done a lot of advertising, to Asia yet because or places where there's a language barrier. But if you speak English and can understand me and I can understand you, then I would love to work with you. I mean, even not we'll get a translator. I mean, again, I'm open. We'll figure it out.
well, all the folks that listen to my show, because I barely speak English, so yeah, so
It should work.
they have to speak English or to be listening to the show.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
in any event, again, one last time, and by the way, I
Mhm.
love that you create. What did you say? You create beauty.
Oh, for my stone, she brought beauty. I
Yes,
love that. I'm writing that down.
good.
Thank you for asking that question.
You are so welcome. Again, Rebecca Tolk has been our guest for this hour. She is an artist and a
Mm,
photographer, and she does wonderful work. And not only that, she can help you um, get deeper into yourself so that you understand yourself a little bit better and be
mm,
able to meditate and to really open yourself up to what's available for you. And so I think that the photo shoot and stuff is a compliment to what you bring to the table
mm.
to really
Yeah.
to really help people to understand that and that that there's more to them than they think there is.
Yeah, my goal is really to show you your beauty. I mean, that's why I show up and do what I do.
That's very good. Now I just have to tell you, I am have been a bus driver
Nice.
for King County Metro here in the Seattle area for like the last 11 or 12 years. And one of the things that they have there that I always joke about is that there's a little section for where they put pictures of people who have passed away, drivers that die and have heart attacks and whatever it is. And so I've always said that I'm going to have to a professionally done photograph so that when I'm on the wall, it'll look good. So I I will. So actually, what I think I would do with you is I would have you take a picture of my backside that I could put up there on the wall and as my parting gesture for the King County Metro. But in any event, my dear, it's been a pleasure talking with you. I've really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it.
You too. I thank you for having me. It's been so much fun. I appreciate it.
You betcha, and I wish you much success, and that things are going to go just perfectly for you. And just remember, everybody, this is a beautiful day out there. Enjoy yourself, enjoy each other, be kind. Hey, and thanks for listening to this episode all the way to the end. Hey, pretty cool. Hey, don't forget to follow us so you can receive regular updates and new posts. And remember, take care of each other because each other's all we've got. See you next time on My Independence Report.